I do, but he's like, turn it off.
Turn it off. That's funny. Well, good morning.
Good morning.
You get the Barrett twins. Thank you for everything you've been doing this week.
Well, that's what I'm here for.
I know. Our team has been in full force and effect this week. Lynn is at a wedding in Brazil, so we've been covering for her while she's gone. And we've got Ingrid. Show everybody what you have. She is an iWatch, and she's very excited.
An Apple Watch. You know what? And I'm shocked. Because I didn't think I wanted to be connected and all that kind of stuff. But there are other things on it that I really, really like.
Mm-hmm.
That I want it.
Like the fact that you now know that you're live on Facebook. Why do you like your Apple Watch?
Because I'm shocked how, somebody calls me and I don't, when I'm out doing my walk run, I don't have to have my cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's on my watch, and if I fall, it notifies 911.
So you got your iPhone. That actually makes me feel better.
So, yeah.
Because you have had episodes where you've really fallen and hurt yourself.
No, I fall. I mean, definitely. I have this little issue, and I have to be very careful. I have to watch every step that I take, because any unevenness in the sidewalk
trips you up.
Yeah, like one time, right on Main Street and Oldley Highway, coming down the hill where there are two red lights right there. The traffic's always really long, and it has a brick sidewalk, and it was a slight difference, and I'm coming down running, and the next thing I know, I'm like down on the ground. Thank God, I could have bitten through my tongue. I mean,
yeah, you hurt yourself badly.
Well, it hit on my chin, and I look, and they're all watching me, and this one girl rolls her window down, and she's like, "Are you okay? Do you need help?"
You were hurt, and you messed your hands up. I mean,
that was another time. That was at the
GW.
Yeah, the 10-miler, where right before the finish line. That's a whole other story. No, but anyway, she says, "Are you okay?" I said, I'm fine. She said, "But you're bleeding."
So Ingrid's a tough little cookie here who runs all the time, and she loves her Apple Watch because it does your heart rate, it does your blood pressure.
Well, my other one, my Fitbit, did my heart rate and everything too, but this is definitely more to it.
Yeah, lots more to it. So she's been fun because she gets notified. So if you see her look at her watch, that's what's going on there. She's like a squirrel.
I promise I will not check.
Yes, you will.
Plus, it has morning things to meditate on and evening things to meditate on. Mindfulness.
You're so zen now.
Well, it kind of, I mean, when you see it, because it, jingles, and you look at it, and you kind of like, okay, for a minute, let's just, like in the evening, it's like,
take a minute to exhale.
Yeah, and give gratitude, for the day and for things, and I do them.
Oh, good. So Ingrid's improving, self-improvement. All right, so what did you find on the line today, or for this weekend? What's happening?
Oh, there are numerous things happening. One of them is the Spring Capital Arts and Crafts Festival over at Dulles Expo. There are going to be a lot of vendors there with all types of things and ideas. I believe, the show on TV about decorating and stuff like that. There are going to be people from HGTV.
HGTV.
Yeah, will be there and things like that, just to give ideas.
Yeah, the tickets, it starts today. I think it goes 10 to 6 today, and then
Sunday.
Yeah, and then Saturday is 10 to 6, and then Sunday's 10 to 4. And you can get tickets online. Check that out. It's always a huge show, and it's everything from florals to woodworking to apothecary and lotions, and I mean, you can really
it has lots of different things.
Yeah, so that's a fun little thing to do. I had one at the for kids. If you're over in the Reston area, the former Grace Art Center, which is now the Tephra Institute of Contemporary Art. Tomorrow, Saturday, from 12 to 3. They're doing their Spring Family Day. So if you swing by, visit them, they're going to give you a kit with some art supplies and things like that. So it's kind of a fun little thing to expose the family to some contemporary art, and then some take-home projects to reinforce those lessons learned. So check that out.
And then there's also the National Capital Area Cake Show. And this is Saturday and Sunday from 10 to 5. And it's at the Executive Conference and Training Center in Sterling. And oh God, how can I forget who's coming? Oh, the Food Network. Food Network is going to be there and filming. They've got something for everyone. They have things for children and classes people can take and just all kinds of fun things. So it's a really good family type thing, especially if you like cake.
And are you learning to make cakes, or is it just examples of cakes that are out there?
No, I think the majority of it is going to be decorating.
Okay.
Is how when I was reading through that.
That's fun.
Because
and there's so
to
many.
Bake it, and then, you're going to be there half the day.
Right.
So, but they're going to be like with decorating, and I'm sure they're going to have, also recipes for making things.
Okay, so the cake show is in Sterling. Great.
Yeah. And that also they are going to have, they're going to be giving away $50,000 worth of drawings.
Wow.
Different
That's
things.
a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can get your tickets at the door.
So
that should be fun.
It could be fun.
If you like cake decorating.
Yeah, if you like cake decorating, which you don't. I like to cake decorate. My mom was excellent. And she made beautiful cakes back in the day for us when we were growing up. Loved it. But yeah, it's fun. I watch what people are doing now, and it's just light years from what we grew up with in the 80s.
I don't know. When Marie and I took that cake decorating class, that just did it for me. When you see what that icing is, and because you got to have pretty tough stuff.
It's the fondant, right?
What we used was Crisco and sugar.
Okay.
And it's like,
even
my beaters and my mixer, I got them all screwed up.
So Ingrid's not baking cakes.
Nope, no cake.
Nope, she sticks to just really heavy noodles, German noodles. The end. All right, so then the other thing, what's funny is we both kind of came up with the same thing. So Alice Levitt with Northern Virginia Magazine spotlighted and was actually featured on the news this morning, the Tatte Bakery and Cafe, which is Clarendon-based now, and it's one of the few times that she actually reviewed a chain. And Lynn used to work for the Northern Virginia Magazine, and that was a really big deal. Like they almost never review chain restaurants because they want to feature the hyper local independent bakeries.
She was raving about this place on the radio this morning.
So she just admittedly, she's like, I had to feature it. So it is an Israeli American owned Boston born chain, and you're going to find everything from lamb kebabs to baba ganoush, chickpea puree, pitas, as well as more. And one of their signature dishes, which I've never had, but it sounds spectacular, is the Shakshuka.
Yep, she said that was absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, it's a tomato and broth-based soup with lamb meat. One of the kinds is lamb meatballs and poached eggs with peppadew peppers and a delicious broth, and then they serve that with all kinds of bread. And in the article, it was pretty funny because she said, I thought it was going to be way too much bread, and it turned out that, shockingly, and in case you guys couldn't tell, is that you can never have enough bread. Never, never, never.
No, but she said, and it's very filling.
Yeah.
She said, because at the end, she said they have wonderful pastries, too.
Oh, okay. Because at the bottom of the article, she said she didn't get to them, so maybe she went
didn't,
back.
But she said they had, wonderful pastries, but she just, by that time, you're so full.
And you said it was a great place for brunch.
Yes, she said it's a wonderful brunch place.
Yeah, so this is the Tatte Bakery and Cafe in Clarendon. So check that out. It's apparently the new thing. All right, well, let's get to business here. Oh, you know what I did last night before we get to business? So thank you for taking our buyers out because I had to network last night. My networking group had a get-together for the first time in a very long time, and we did the X's and O's axe throwing. Which, by the way, I'm going to need one in my backyard. That is so I think you would really get into it, just hucking an axe and a hatchet. So if you guys have not been to X's and O's in Sterling, it is a must-do thing. It's like a 90-minute, bowling type session. They give you a cage to get in, and you throw axes.
That sounds dangerous to me.
Oh, it is a ball. It is so cathartic. All right, so let's get to what's happening. This past week, we did the market update. Lynn does a really nice breakdown of what's happened back in February, and more importantly, what we're kind of headlonging into March. So what we're continuing to see which is different than last year, is that the inventory crunch, the demand for houses is just crushing, is the word that I'm going to use. It is an absolutely crushing demand for housing. And what that is causing is people who would love to get out of their houses are not getting out of their houses.
Right, because they're afraid, where do we go?
Because they're afraid of where to go.
And how much more do we have to pay than what we're getting?
Exactly. And then because of that, it's not just $10,000, $20,000 over asking. People are throwing 10, 20% over asking price to get these properties. And that is at every single price point, whether it's $200,000 or $2 million. People are escalating and throwing money that is not data supported at properties. Now that these January, February contracts are starting to settle out, we're starting to see appraisals be better, and the loans are starting to cover some of that. But in the end, the people with the cash who can waive an appraisal are the ones that are winning, and it's very frustrating for purchasers.
And if you don't give up everything, you don't even have a chance, regardless of how much money you're throwing at it.
Exactly. So it is tough, but we are putting our nose to the ground, and we're doing the best we can for our purchasers. I mean, you showed 3 properties yesterday. I'm showing another. Sharon showed 4 properties yesterday for another set of buyers. I'm showing. I mean, we're knocking it out of the park this weekend, showing probably 20 properties to about 4 different sets of purchasers. So keep your fingers crossed for them. But the demand is tough, and as far as overcoming it, the solution's got to come on how we can relieve the people who are holding on to their properties because they're scared to move up or down. Well, we've got to somehow figure out how we can let those properties go so that they can get to the next level, which will ease some of that demand going up and down the chain.
The interest rates going up.
Maybe.
I think that will have some impact.
Yeah. I think it has some impact on plateauing the escalation of sales prices.
It'll start on the lower level first.
Right. And that's already happening.
Yeah. And then it goes from there.
Yeah. Our entry level folks, this is what we're talking about, is if they were approved for $550 at, a 3.7 interest rate, as that starts to pop up to 4.1, 4.2.
No, the other day Steve said 4.6.
Yeah, so if it starts to pop up,
which is
going
a great rate.
Yeah, it's still a great rate, but the problem is it affects their affordability on a month-to-month basis, so they may have to knock down their sales price and point price to $530 in order to accommodate for that. So we'll talk more. If you have questions about the market and your price point in your area, just let us know and we can talk to you about that. But Lynn's is a great video. This was one that got some traction on the various sites as well that we posted up. We did our, this was a fixer-upper. So here at the Focus on Nova team, we're always going to look at a property and say, okay, here's the spectrum in the neighborhood, here's the lowest, here's the highest. Yours falls here on the spectrum. Then we look at it and say, okay, to get the highest price, how much money would you need to put into it to get the highest price? And if there's a return on investment there, then we may recommend you do that. Ultimately, you're driving the train. You can decide whether or not you want to do something. This was a perfect example where the house needed about $70,000 to $80,000 worth of work, but there was only a differential of $70,000 to $80,000 between sell it as is and sell it all fixed up. So the seller opted to not fix it up, went ahead and listed it.
Still a lot of offers.
Yeah, we had 27 offers. We ended up escalating from 250 to 290. So what is that?
40,
just
000.
about 18% over. It was about 18% over asking price on this one, and the seller was happy. But you can see an example of why it's okay to sell as long as you're pricing correctly and you know your market. So that's how we walk you through that. A great series there. Hello. Why are we not advancing? There we go. And then this should go up today. We were having some video technical difficulties yesterday.
I have technical difficulties every day.
No, you don't. You're all fancy with your Apple Watch, but Maura Stevens has done a wonderful drive through Old Town Manassas and is just going to talk to you about some of the restaurants and shops.
That has come such a long way. It's got like the Things I Love, which is one of my favorite little stores, and it's just, it has really come along.
I mean, the
They've-
restaurants are delicious. There's lots of cool little hangout bars, shops, game shops. I mean, the pavilion right next to the caboose is there. I mean, they do all kinds of wonderful things. So definitely check that out.
I think it starts like mid to late spring, where they start every Saturday night practically. They have bands that play there, and I've been there in the summertime, and it's interesting. It's really interesting.
Check out Manassas because it ain't what it used to be.
No.
Also, last week, we're trying a new experiment. So check out our various pages on Instagram and our reels that we put out there because we're getting all TikTok-y on you. So you can vote to see whose TikTok reel you like the best. Lynn, Sharon, Maura, myself, or Ingrid's. It's the stabbing one that we did. So check it out. Oh, this one.
Sometimes they're a little crazy.
They are. So this one coming up this week on social media, and also already it'll be live tomorrow on our Hot and Fresh news page on our website. We are featuring our home stories and little shops throughout the area that are locally owned. And this is a women-owned shop that I met with Julia Louie, who is one of the two owners here. Holly's the other one. Such a cute shop.
Where is it?
It is in Falls Church, right on Broad Street. There's a little Cape Cod, pink Cape Cod, very shabby chic, that you roll in. And these ladies have set up a shop, and essentially it is decor and decorating and loving on your houseplants. The whole shop is featuring succulents and vines and just any type of greenery. And what's really fun is that everything is locally sourced. Everything is locally sourced. And they've got the most adorable collection of pots and containers to display. I don't know if you can see behind me, but when you do see the article, I made a point to do lots of pictures on how you can display things. And like this one right behind me is an old card catalog from a library, and they just pulled out the different drawers and put succulents in them, and it's just a really cool feature. These little baggies, I bought one of them to put my prickly little cactus that Josh bought 100 years ago in. It's just the textures and everything else is there. And what's really neat is that Julie and Holly do a really great job of counseling you on, what is your light like? What is your life like? Are you gone for periods of time? Maybe you'd be better suited for a succulent versus a, upsy-downsy plant that needs to be watered constantly. But you can see over here the assortment of different pots and styles that are there. It was just, I walked out, I spent $100. It's so bad. Just containers, pots, and plants. And then
you're the worst person.
I know. Plants. I kill everything, but I bought.
Well, that's because you got to water it.
I know. I've been there. I was inspired by Botanologica in Falls Church, but they also have a clothing line too, which is nice, as well as the apothecary line with the creams and stuff. Again, everything is locally sourced. So check out that article. It's going to go live on Monday. We do another what you get for, and again, the entire point of this series is how much will your money go and where? How much will your money go and where?
Buy?
Right. And it's important because the Manassas house went for $290 in really junky condition that needed to be renovated. This was a cute little house right over in Country Club Hills in Fairfax, and Country Club Estates in Fairfax on Lincoln, and this one went pre-market. We never even hit the market, and somebody came in sight unseen and bought it for well above asking. But what we do is we take the down payment, we take the monthly payment, we break it all down, we show you the pictures so you can see what the inside is. Check it out. Lynn does a nice job with that one as well.
Yeah, I took something there. They're a young couple.
Yeah.
And they were like so excited that they were getting something.
It's exciting.
No, they were cute.
Yeah, it's exciting. This was a cute house. They've done a nice renovation on the inside. So.
I didn't see it.
Oh, well, how'd you take it?
No, I took something to them, in our things that we do, and I had them on my list, so I went there, and they were they both came to the door and they're like, yes. And I said, this is from Lynn. And they were so excited. Oh my God.
Yeah, so if you guys didn't know, when you become one of our clients, we occasionally will just pop by and say hi. So
that's why it's called a pop-by.
It's called a pop-by. But yeah, so those folks got Girl Scout cookies. And then a couple of our other clients last month got lotto tickets. I wonder if anybody won.
That was just this month.
Yeah, this month.
Yeah, for
so
St. Patrick's Day.
For March and St. Patrick's Day,
close to.
Right, so we do all kinds of fun stuff. So you can check that out. Our new series, so much fun on our YouTube channel. This one's going to feature our very own Maura Stevens, and check out our cautionary tales that's going to be posting on Thursday, and what exactly is on your credit report when you are starting to go into either a rental or a purchase scenario. So Maura Stevens is making her cautionary tale debut. These are so fun. All right, and we're wrapping up things to do this weekend. Hold on, what did I do? Things to do this weekend. Cherry Blossom Festival. Last week was peak, but they said the cold weather, as long as it didn't get too rainy, should not have ruined them up.
They were worried about the wind.
They're actually excited about the cold because it preserves the blossoms just a skosh longer. So if you can't get down to D.C., again, compliments of Northern Virginia Magazine to give credit where credit is due. There are local places that do have lots of cherry blossoms where you can check them out in their glory, but not necessarily at the tidal basin. So here we go. Get your pen and pencil. Green Spring Gardens in Alexandria, right over at Braddock Road and 236. That they have a lot of cherry blossoms where you can check it out. There's also another park over in Kenwood, Maryland. The neighborhood was established, and they planted cherry trees when they built the neighborhood. So just drive through the neighborhood in Kenwood and you'll see that. A little closer to this side of the Potomac, over in Vienna, don't miss Meadowlark Botanical Garden.
Oh yeah, they're
spectacular.
I like going there anytime. I took my mom there once.
Did you really?
And it's kind of downhill.
Oh no! So she didn't go.
Well, as we're going downhill, I'm thinking, what goes down has to go up.
Mm-mm.
So we're walking along, and we had to take a few little rests. And toward the end, I'm thinking, do they have a wheelbarrow around here? And I put her in and get her up the next hill.
How long did it take Mama to come up?
It took a while.
Oh,
we had to take a number. I know that was dumb on my part, but she enjoyed.
Yeah, it's a beautiful park.
It is. It's a very nice park.
So check out Meadowlark Gardens because that is also there. The National Harbor has several cherry trees planted as well. And last but not least, also in Alexandria, we have the River Farm Park as well. So you don't have to schlep into D.C. You should because it's worth
if
doing.
You want to go into D.C., they're also having tomorrow the kite flying thing.
You're right.
So
yeah, so they have the kite on the mall. They have the flying your kites, so you can check out the cherry blossoms and
fly your kite.
Go fly your kite, as they say, and I mean that with all of the lovely endearment and not any of the sarcasm.
So, we are just so informative.
We're so informative. I mean, what would people do without us?
Yeah.
They'd probably read the sources that we read. So as far as any real estate coming up, we're in a little bit of a lull. We have a couple closings coming up next week because it's the end of the month, so that's when that happens.
Isn't it hard to believe the end of March?
I know. We're first quarter in and rocking and rolling. But we do have several listings coming up in April, so stay tuned for those. And if you have any questions about the real estate market, we're here. It's what we do. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye. Let me get this one.